Hi, welcome to the second part of my How to Make Leather Armor video. If you haven't seen the first video in the series, the link is going to be in the description below. In this video, I'm going to cover measuring and putting holes for rivets in the armor.
Shake your moneymaker! Ooh, 2 hits! Yeah!
Okay, here we have 2 pieces that I had cut in my last video. Look in the description for the link to that video. And I am going to punch some holes in them before I harden them so that I can put some rivets to connect them. Here are the rivets I'm going to use. That's one half. Here's the other half of the rivet. I could use, if I had the right size, something like this to punch holes in. Use that. And my mallet. But because I don't have quite the right size for the holes I'm going to be going with here, for the holes I'm going to need, I'm going to use this instead. And it'll just punch through like that. Right now, I've used a couple of bullnose clips here that aren't very tight, just to kind of help keep everything in place. A little hard to see here, but I've got the ends of this piece lined up with the ends of these lines here, where my overlap is about right. And then I'm going to go put a hole somewhere in this neighborhood and a hole somewhere in this neighborhood. I haven't quite decided how far in I'm going to come yet. Alright, so I've got my ruler and I've lined my 12-inch mark up right here with the end, and I'm going to come into, that's about an inch in right there. And we'll do something very similar over here, and you'll notice I'm doing all of this on the back. That way my marks are hidden. And that's about an inch there. From the other direction it didn't look like it, but that is about an inch. And then, because I want it to be well above the overlap, I think I'll come in, I'll have the top of it be about a 1/4 inch in. So I'll come in like that, right there. And I don't really have enough hands here. Let's see if I can set this up. Something that will hold it. Alright, there we go, good. My big jug of barge cement helps out there. Alright, I'm going to come in a 1/4 inch from my end there, and this is going to be the top. You know, the rest of the actual hole is going to be like that. Alright, I'll do the same thing over on the other side, where you can see what I'm doing. There. Alright. So I'm not going to try to do both at the same time, because this is I'm trying to remember if it's 7 or 8 or 8 or 9 ounce leather. Let me look at the receipt here and see what it says. 7 to 9 ounce leather, so it's both of what I said. So this is a little thick to punch through 2 at a time. That's what I use to make armor. That's one of the reasons I use it to make armor, is because it is nice and thick. Okay, so what I'm doing is this. Get this where you can see it. See, I'm on top of my hole there, and it's going to push against that side, and I'm just going to squeeze down real hard. Actually, not real hard. I'll give it a little twist to make sure it's a nice clean cut. Pull it out and get it over there where you can kind of see something under it that's lighter, so you can see the difference. See? So I've got a hole there now that my rivet will go through. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Line it up with my hole. Twist to make sure it's made a nice clean cut. Let's look at this one too. Oh yeah, that's a nice clean cut. All right. So I've now got that done on this piece. I'm going to put it back onto the piece that I just took it off of, which is this one here. Overlap them back the same way I did before. This one actually sticks out a little further because it's the lower half of a pauldron. So I got that lined up. I'll take my bullnose clip. Clip it on. And just in case you're wondering, if you didn't see the last video, which once again I'll put a link to that, this here, the reason I've got this black thing is when I do beat and bang and cut, it's what saves my table. Not only from having a bunch of holes in it, as you can see this has got a bunch of holes and cuts, it also absorbs some of the force when I'm having to hammer. So because I have beat the screws out of several tables that I didn't care about the surface on before I got this, and this seems to help. Alright, so I'm back. I went and got a pencil that I sharpened with a long point, and hopefully that will be enough to reach down in there. I may have to do quite a lot of moving around to make a good mark, because as you can see it doesn't leave a real good mark on leather. But hopefully that will leave me enough that I can see what I'm doing. Now do the same thing over here. And let's see what we've got. Oh yeah. Yeah, we got two marks that are easy enough to see. So we'll go after those. You see, this is what it punches out right here, this little thing that looks like a cork out of a Smurf's wine bottle or something. Okay, once again I'll show you my holes here. And then those are going to line up kind of like let me get one of the rivets out, and I'll show you how that'll line up. I'm not going to do the rivets until much later. I've still got to shape the leather, and I want each part to be separate when I do that. So, and you do want it kind of small, where you've got to push a little to get it through. So I want to shape the leather. I'm afraid these rivets, I may have to get longer ones, but we'll see. I may be able to kind of countersink this hole here and be able to get the other end of the rivet close enough to properly pound it on. But as you can see, it just barely sticks through. So hopefully that'll be enough. We'll find out later on. But I'm not going to, once again, put in the rivets right now because I've still got to shape it. I've still got to die it. And once I've done all that, then I can actually attach the pieces to one another. So it's going to hold it together like that. And once again, I will probably have these covered up with some of the embellishment that this piece is going to get. But it'll eventually. Let's see, what's the next piece? That's the left side or the right side, whatever. Okay. It will eventually look something like, if I can avoid dropping stuff, something like this. And of course it will be curved and it will have a lot of embellishment, and it will also have the upper half on the right or left. I think on the left. It's left. It will also have the upper half of the shoulder piece, which is going to kind of have about an 70 or 80 degree angle, and it's going to fold back like this, as well as curve like this. To do that, I didn't show it in the video because it was a long process and it was a slow and boring process, and I don't think I had really the right tool to do it, so I didn't really want to show that as something you should try, because there was, but if you can see there, I have cut an angle here, and I have cut an angle along this side as well, so that when they come together, instead of coming together end to end like, let me set this back up, instead of coming together with two relatively flat ends like this and sitting flat against one another in this plane, or relatively flat, they actually, let me get the other two, since that one's done together, they will come together like this and give you an angle. And it's kind of hard to just hold them together, especially, and actually get a good picture of it in this camera, but that'll give you some idea of what's going on there. Alright, and here we have the rivets just stuck in place. I haven't put the backs on them yet. But this will give you some idea of how they will overlap. These two surfaces here and here will be glued together, and the whole thing will bend. Okay, unfortunately, I wasn't able to simulate what it will look like when it's actually formed into place, because as I go to bend the armor from its flattened state right now, the rivets not having their backs on them, they just pull right out. So that'll just have to wait until a later video before you get to see what it's actually going to look like in its bent form. So hopefully here in another couple of weeks I'll get back to doing these cosplay videos, leatherworking videos, and until then I've got a couple of more D&D videos planned. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Especially the subscribing and sharing helps me out a whole lot. Till my next video, have a great day.